Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to be with you tonight, and it has been an honor for these last 17 years to be on your incredible journey. Salam al-Mariyati found me after 9/11, and I'm embarrassed to say I didn't even know where the mosques were in Southern California. But it became very clear to me, as a civil rights lawyer, we were not having a repeat of detention centers in Korematsu, not on my watch. And I had to find, as we watched the towers disintegrate, I called Ramona Ripston, the great civil rights leader who just passed away last week. I called Ramona, and she said, I know. We've got to hit the streets. We've got to find the mosques. We've got to get law enforcement. We've got to find the next community that is going to be scapegoated and blamed. Since those 17 years, I have been privileged to watch this movement get built. And I said this afternoon that Muslim Americans are in a very, very special place at a critical time in constitutional democracy's development. It's break the glass time, folks. And the reason that Muslim Americans are particularly, especially important now is because the most important credo, the most important American credo, is e pluribus unum, of the many one. And that is what you have shown. This ballroom, you have taken many, many different origins, countries of origin. You have taken Muslims from around the world, come here, created a tapestry. You have made of the many one, united in the quest for not just religious liberty, but freedom and justice for all. You are critical, not just for the counterterrorism, which is, I guess, the stereotype you have to live with. We can compare stereotypes another time and share stories. Yes, you are critical for that, because you are showing the way for 21st century Islam. You are showing the true soul and spirit of Islam to the rest of the world and to the United States. That is critical. You are showing the United States what e pluribus unum means. You have modeled it, and you are doing it. Here and now, we are in a reckoning, an American reckoning. Steve Schmidt called it a cold civil war. No, it's not a cold civil war. When people die, it's a hot civil war. And in this room, and in this past election, don't get too comfortable with the results. That's just a first skirmish in this war. This is an old war. These are the last battles of the American Civil War. And it is not a cold war. More are going to die. It's going to take more than just one election. And it was an encouraging election, even though vicious racism, vicious Islamophobia, anti-immigrant, anti-refugee rhetoric and symbolism were used. It worked to some extent in Georgia and Florida, and that was disheartening. But the other side of it is that when two African Americans come that close from a slavocracy state like Georgia and a slavocracy state like Florida, when they come this close, that is significant. The other contextual thing to keep in mind is that while normally in midterms, normal pattern of electoral data, it tells you that the party out of power gains seats. But ladies and gentlemen, we are in the 10th year of the Obama recovery, economic recovery. To be fair, it's 85% Obama, 15% Trump. When you have 3.7 unemployment, that's full employment, according to the economists, even though millions are still out of work. They consider that full employment. When you have a 24% increase in the stock market, most of which went to the 1%, but it's still a 24% increase. That is a stellar economy. It doesn't get much better than that. When the economy is that good, the party in power should have gained at least 6 seats in the House of Representatives. Instead, they lost almost 40. Okay? There may not have been a blue wave. There was a female wave. There was a youth vote wave. There was a Muslim ripple. There was a rainbow ripple. Okay? The seeds, the hopes, the shoots of hope are peering up from the soil. The toxic soil. Blood and soil. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fighting for the soul of this democracy. We are fighting. We choose bridges over walls. We choose freedom over detention camps. We choose truth over lies. We choose liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, MPAC is at the front of this war. You are critical. Your work is critical. We must create the alliance, the grand alliance that is capable of pushing back. I am the great-granddaughter of slaves and slave owners. Only in this multiracial democracy, in 4 generations, could we go from being chattel to counsel, chattel to the Secretary of State. My family is part of this tapestry. Our story is the American story. But ladies and gentlemen, our freedom, constitutional democracy, hangs by a thread. There is a wrecking ball in power. The destruction of norms, the destruction of the institutions. Without the framework of Madisonian democracy, this democracy can disappear. And like a frog in boiling water, it's getting close to 112 degrees. Don't fool yourselves. Once a culture is blooded for fascism, you can't unblood it. We are being tempered for cruelty. We are being tempered to accept craven corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no choice. It's break the glass time. Are you with all of us? We are with you. We've been in tougher times. My grandmother used to sit in Birmingham, Alabama in the dark with a rifle over her knees because you had to hide the men when the Klan rode. They were looking to lynch the men. We are looking at the descendants of people who used to pack a picnic lunch and take their children to watch a lynching. The only thing that they have ever been promised in our democracy is that they will be better than slaves and better than black people. And when they looked up and saw that that was no longer a promise that was being kept, they realized they had been left behind. We do not answer their hate and their fear with hate and fear. We do not answer their fist with another fist. We offer them an open hand, and we give them a vision of real inclusion and ask them to stop voting for the people who use their votes with racial fear and division. Willie Horton, scary Muslims, refugees fleeing gang violence who've been made into a panzer unit about to invade the border. No, we offer hope. We give them a vision of real opportunity. Because in the past 30 years, we have ripped the rungs out of the upward mobility ladder, and we have left poor people at the bottom of the well, and that includes poor white people. We have to give them real opportunity, and then the hate will subside. It'll never completely disappear. No one is ever safe. As my mother says, we are basically chimpanzees with nuclear weapons. And we have to counter our innate ability to turn on one another. We have to use the upper cortex, not the brainstem. We are in brainstem mode right now. And we have to get to this. But you can't fight, as much of a lawyer as I am, you can't fight a culture war with law and facts and policy. We choose truth over lies. But truth doesn't work when you're making an emotional appeal of hatred. You can gin up people into genocide in just a few weeks. Look at Rwanda. Look at Bosnia. Look at the Tree of Life, but also look at the mosques that have been burned, that have been vandalized. Look at the Muslims who have also been slain, and the whites and African Americans who have come to their defense, the Jews who have come to their defense. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a mutual defense society, and we are going to save this democracy together. I will leave you with my favorite quote from Thurgood Marshall, the great African-American justice, Supreme Court justice. He said at a graduation, at a time he was feeling of despair, because almost every decision that he had written that expanded freedom and liberty had been reversed by a conservative Supreme Court. And he thought it was bad then. It's going to get a lot worse now. But ladies and gentlemen, no court can turn back our passion for freedom and democracy or equality. No court can reverse. We're not going back. And we've come too far to go back now. We are not going back. I may be the great-granddaughter of something, but we are not going back to those days. No. This is our watch. And the great Thurgood Marshall said, we can run from each other, but we cannot escape each other. Knock down the fences that divide. Tear apart the walls that imprison. Reach out. Freedom lies just the other side. E pluribus unum. Let's do it.